Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Joining me, guys, for a holiday edition of our coaches panel. This time, we're a month into the season. I got a chance to see most of you guys play already this year, and I'll make sure I get to see the rest of you guys play as well. You know, you guys have all had some big wins and some losses as well, except for Coach Carlos. There's no losses over there. But
we got 0 losses too right now.
My bad. So, well, before we start talking trash and before Coach Rivers takes over the podcast, let me introduce everybody. I got Tony Bentley from Wakefield High School. I got Coach Sherman Rivers from Patriot. I got Doug Craig from Woodson. I got Doug Ewell from Westfield. I got Carlos Poindexter from Hayfield, and I got David Howson from West Potomac. So anyway, Coach Howson was coming back from practice. Glad you can join us. But I wanted to start where we were talking offline. I guess there were some tournaments that were teams had to be switched out maybe because of COVID. So Coach Rivers, Sherman, why don't you go ahead and start that dialogue with Coach Carlos? What was going on?
I was just asking, what his tournament happened, because I know he was looking for one, and he was talking about Coach Ox and his tournament. So that's where we were just kind of before we started.
Yeah, I was trying. So I reached out to Bentley, reached out to Mount Vernon, reached out to a couple other people trying to find tournaments, and the Governor's Challenge people reached out to me and basically said that I could get 2 games over there. So that's basically what I'm doing. On December 29th and December 30th, we're gonna go play over there for 2 games.
It's a good tournament, man. It is. It's good.
Have there been tournaments canceled because of COVID so far? Or
yeah, so the tournament that we're in, it literally got canceled 2 days ago.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Nixed the whole thing.
Where were you playing?
We were playing at Northern High School in Calvert County, Maryland.
Okay.
So
there's a problem. There's a problem. Stay in Virginia.
Coach Ox was hitting me up too. I would have been mad if I went up to that joint after he heckled me. Talking about I ignore his emails all the time. I was like, man, I don't remember receiving any emails.
I was actually with you that day. When
you were with me. Yes. And I would have been mad at you too, because you was part of the cosign and heckling me about that day tournament.
Oh man.
Well, guys, why don't we start on a really positive note? We're going to get to COVID and some of the other drama that's been going on in the area. But I thought we'd start, what's going on basketball wise. I mean, like I said, I've been to quite a few games. I think I've been to 8 games already this year, and the crowds have been out. They've been enthusiastic. The level of play has been high. Coach Carlos said to me, it's always been high in public schools. But, I have to say, I've been to some games. I've been impressed by the athleticism. The coaching's always been top notch up here, but I've had good times in the days I can't get to games. I'm disappointed because I've been enjoying it so much. So why don't we go in order? It's easier for me to go in the order in which I have you. Coach Tony Bentley, why don't you start out? What's going on with your team? I know you've had some very nice wins. You've had some setbacks as well. Where do you see yourself right now going into the holiday season?
As you can go back to our last show, I told you guys, I'm very happy to have 3 wins under my belt with this young team that we are grooming. But it's been an interesting season for the guys. Like you said, we've had some wins and we've definitely had some losses. We've been in a lot of our games. We're just young and learning trying to learn how to win, which again, I don't think is going to happen until 2023, January. So, but I mean, excited to be back coaching and playing. The first game of the season, I walked in the gym, my freshman was about to start, and I'm not even kidding to you. It was over 800 to close to 1,000 people in the gym for a freshman basketball game. I think everybody was just excited to be back in the gym. It was amazing to see that, people are back in the gym. Of course, now we're having some setbacks or whatever, but just the excitement around the beginning of the season was amazing. So I'm happy to be back and continuing to do the things that we've been doing.
Coach, have you had some players surprise you so far this year that you didn't think would contribute so quickly and be able to come in and play right away?
When you throw 4 or 5 sophomores to the fire, I mean, they're going to have to surprise you. So every day is something that they're learning. We're dealing with, we took the kids out on the road already. We went down to Chesapeake, Virginia, just to teach them how things are done and how making business trips as young as sophomores. So yeah, I've seen some surprises in some guys, and to me, not necessarily some surprises, but again, these guys are sophomores, so I'm not even saying any names right now because their head will get even bigger. But I've seen some surprises on some of our, kids that we are counting on, and they're just playing well and playing hard and playing together, and that's all we can ask for with this young group.
Oh, that's great. Well, Coach Rivers, so Patriot down in Noakesville area, I believe. You guys started off the season with a huge win against your alma mater, Potomac. I think Potomac got to state semis last year. I believe.
State championship last year.
State championship. So that had to be a big win. Did that win surprise you? And so far, what do you think about the season?
I wouldn't say that I was surprised. I mean, obviously all of our expectations going to games we feel like we can win. I knew how much they had lost with the roster that they had from the previous year. I mean, they had a lot of really good players, and I think they lost their top 8. We knew Kyle Honore was still going to be very good. I was good with the roster we had. I just didn't know how we were going to react to that environment, because we got a lot of inexperienced guys as far as a lot of varsity minutes. And, we got 5 sophomores as well. So, and it was a Wednesday night. The gym was packed on a Wednesday, which, is, I'm not totally shocked, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting that big of a crowd for a Wednesday. And our kids went in there. We looked like we were playing the first game of the season, but we were able to make some plays and got up by double digits at one point. And I think we ended up winning by 11. Which was a good way to start the season for us. And then, beat a really good Hilton team the next week. Played Riverside, which I think is ranked top 10 in Division 5. Got that win down at Colonial Forge at their showcase. And then we got one district game in against Unity Reed, which was a good showing where we got a good team win, won by about 20. And then, we got hit with the vid and got the shutdown for a little bit. So, yeah. So I was happy with the way we were progressing. Hopefully, when we get back to playing Monday down in Henrico, our guys don't look too out of sync doing that. So,
hey, Coach, is that Scroggins on Hilton any relation to Kenny Scroggins played at Garfield?
I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if it's Kenny. I know Jacob Scroggins that played at Potomac. Right. Back in the 2000s. I know they have a relation. I can't remember what the relation is, but that is definitely a relation there. I'm not sure about Kenny.
Okay. Well, Coach Carlos, if this guy step up your game, or I forgot his name, he posts all those highlight reels. I mean, every single week he's posting highlight films of 5 of your players dunking in games. So it looks like your season's been a pretty solid highlight film, and probably topped by a win over a Bishop Ireton team that had taken some public school players from I guess from Lake Bragg and another school as well.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good start for us so far. I was kind of blown that we didn't get to play for South Lakes. Was it yesterday? Yesterday or day before yesterday? It's kind of blown by that because everybody tells me, and I do think South Lakes is a very good team. And I guess it was 1 versus 2 and somebody's poll. So, I wanted our guys to play that game. Our guys really wanted to play that game, man. For us not to play that game was unfortunate. But besides that, other 5 games went pretty smooth. Glad we got our victories. We had a tough one versus South County. That was a good game. And, just looking forward to continue our ways, and hopefully that we can do some big things coming up in January and February.
The highlights from that game are crazy.
Yeah.
Like crazy. Like I wish I was in attendance of that one. That's how crazy the highlights were.
That was wild, I will say.
that was personal, that game. So anyway, Coach Ewell, what about you? I got a chance to see it at the Red Jenkins Classic. You definitely got some players out there, and it looks like you're gonna be good on your night, and you've had some nice wins to start off the season.
First of all, I love my team. I think the best part about our team is kids learning to adjust to. We really only start one senior and Will Vetter, but him learning to be what it's like to be a feature. He's been a Robin for a while. Now he's Batman, and he's getting everybody's best defender. Got to learn how to adjust to that, and it may not be scoring for him, but learning how to play the game and make others better. So I think that's been a lot of fun. getting adjusted. We've had some really good wins. We had a tough loss to Woodbridge at the Red Jenkins. We lost by 2. It was a great game. I like our team. I think that we're going to be fine. I think our district is really, really tough. So that'll be exciting to see. And watch Centerville play last night. Madison's really, really good. And South Lakes is, in some polls, 1, 2, 3 in the state. So I'm really looking forward to getting to that point. We got hit with the COVID ourselves. We're down 2 starters, but that's the beauty of right now in non-district play, getting some other guys the opportunity to play in some really meaningful minutes so that they'll be ready to play in district time. If someone gets sick, someone's got COVID, someone gets injured, that's really where we are. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Doug. Well, Coach Craig, I got a chance to see you guys play at the Red Jenkins Classic. You guys obviously hosted it. You got a lot of good players. You guys pass the ball around really well, defend real well. It looks like you haven't, from watching you guys play, your team looks like your experienced team. So what do you think so far? I know you got a couple big wins under your belt as well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought going into the year we had senior guards that were pretty experienced and pretty good players. They've kind of delivered early in the year. We have not been particularly shooting the ball very well. I think we're capable of shooting the ball a little better than we are early in the year. And we've been a little inconsistent offensively. I think we've kind of hung our hat on our defense. Our defense has been pretty good. Most nights we're able to kind of hold teams in that low 50s kind of range. We have some very good on-ball defenders, so we can kind of match up on the perimeter with some guards. We're a little bit young inside and inexperienced, and those guys are getting some meaningful minutes, and they've had some big games. And we dropped a tough one last Friday night over at Fairfax, who's got a good team. We kind of got off to a very, very slow start. We were down, I think, 22 points, 3 minutes in the third quarter.
Wow.
Got the ball, got the game down twice, had a chance with the ball to tie it in the last minute and missed the layup and missed an open 3 at the buzzer. We got to play again more consistently. We kind of are able to play a really good half, and then we're kind of a little bit all over the place. But I like our team. They're getting better. Right now, we're just trying to survive here. We got five guys out right now with COVID. So last night we played over at Chantilly. We had 9 guys dressed, and then one of them rolled his ankle in the third quarter. So we finished the game with 8 players dressed, and just trying to cobble, get some minutes out of guys that don't normally get a chance to play a lot, and trying to get them some game experience, and keep our guys who are playing really big minutes here early in the year because guys are out sick. Trying to keep them healthy. It makes it difficult to practice with only 8 or 9 guys. I think we're playing at Tony's Christmas tournament next week, the George Long Holiday Classic, and we're going to bring up a couple JV guys so we can have 10 to practice this week, and they'll dress out for us next week. So just kind of making it work, I guess, like a lot of other people are.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach. Well, Coach Halston, so I got a chance to see you guys play against Yorktown when my kids go to school, and it was one of those nights where you guys definitely a better team, play well. You got good size. Your kids play well, play smart. But every time you had a chance to go in double digits, you missed the shot. They come down and they get a 3-pointer. It's one of those games you could have put it away, but then magically, every time you needed a shot, you guys hit a big 3 yourself. So it's one of those games you learn. And I saw you got a big win. I think you got a big win this week, right? You beat who'd you beat, Coach?
We played Madison Tuesday night.
That was a nice win. So it looks like you guys you've had your ups and downs a little bit this year, which is a good way to learn, right?
Yeah. So that night was probably, I think it may have been a Tuesday night game too, the Yorktown crowd. So we've had some road crowds, Yorktown crowd, people that know, and student section and Madison student section on the road are 2 really challenging student sections to deal with. And I think, Yorktown made some shots that were just 13 threes. It's unbelievable. But we scheduled tough, Yorktown's tough. I think they're better than their record for sure. Madison's really good. We played like Braddock, we played South Lakes, we played South County, and then our rival team, Mount Vernon. So, that's, we're 3-3 going in. We've had, internal stuff. We got guys out sick, just like everybody else. We haven't had a consistent probably have 14 players in the team. I'm not sure if I've seen all 14 of them 5 days in a row this year. Trying to just thinking about it, maybe, probably not. So, trying to figure out, I got new lineups the other night because we had guys that were out against Madison. And I just like the toughness of my guys. I thought they played really, really tough on the road. We've been tied or had the lead in the fourth quarter of every game so far this year. And we have been just trying to learn how to do the fundamental things at the end of the game to make the right play. Not trying to, go spin behind your back in the back court when you're up 2 minutes to go, and getting trapped. And then the guy you turn it over, they score, and now, games change. So we're learning. I like it. We play Monday in the Falls Church Holiday Tournament. And we're staying local. So for our first time actually being local in like 5 or 6 years, we used to go to Charlottesville every year. I'm anxious to have, see how that goes. I like my guys, like how we're doing this year.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach. Well, look, I want to get to the players and teams that have surprised us this year. But first, let's get the elephant in the room, or elephant in the closet, or whatever the old saying is, out of the way. Now, as you guys know, Coach Prue, he went into the stands and was talking to a fan. Unfortunately, it was Coach Bentley, happened to be there on the other bench that night, and it was a horrible incident. He got hit by, I think, another fan. These were all Alexandria City fans. Coach Bentley, they had nothing to do with Wakefield. He just happened to be in the wrong gym. And Coach has admitted that he shouldn't have gone into the stands. I mean, that's a given. He's admitted it. But is there something going on with parents generally? I talked to one of you on this group, and I'm not going to reveal who it was, but you've also voiced to me that sometimes you don't necessarily feel that safe. You feel like it's, there is a little bit of the uncertainty now with parents and fans and stuff. So anyway, we'll start with Coach Bentley, and you were there. If you want to add any flavor to what happened, you don't have to, but is there something going on with parents and fans these days? Is there more of an entitlement than we're used to?
So let's speak on the night that happened. I wanted to first say that this was Alexandria City versus Alexandria City. Because when it all came out, it made it seem like Wakefield fans was targeting the Alexandria City coach. They also made it sound like that the Alexandria City coach talked to one of our staff members, and our staff members did not help. They had 2 staff members there, and I believe their athletic director was there. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that all we provided was the ring. All right. We had nothing to do with that. All right. So get that off of Wakefield. A very unfortunate incident. We've talked about it. We've all been around a long time. Has there been nights where you probably wanted to go up in the stands? Absolutely. You just can't take that step to go up into the stands, no matter what is being said. I said the only thing I think that would make me go up in the stands if somebody smacks my wife or one of my own personal kids, that would make me go up in the stands. So I'm very unfortunate for Coach Prue and what happened to the situation, all the way around, for fans. At Wakefield, do I have that issue with parents or anything like that? No. I've been there for a while. I think maybe my first year, this discrepancy was me coming from Washington Liberty or Lee and trying to replace a legend in Bob Veldrin being 31 years old, that type of thing. But I have a great relationship with, first of all, my parents, my community, and I have a principal and an athletic director that is on board with everything. And so I don't let the fans or anything like that bother me. I have rules, and rules are not to be broken. And we just stick with them. Have the parents changed over the years? For sure. We all seen it. It's a major pandemic of parents, and wanting, as I used to always say, parent thinks that their kid is Michael Jordan. I can't say Jordan anymore because now it's LeBron or KD or whatever. But
no, you can say Michael Jordan. Keep saying
it. I just think that, some realization has to sink in with some of the parents, whether it may be playing time, whatever it may be. I like to always, if I would have a problem with the parent, is to invite my parents to practice. Let my parents see what, the kids are doing or not doing, and then evaluate from there. But at the end of the day, I was hired as the basketball coach at Wakefield to do my job. I don't go to anybody else's job and tell them how to do things. So you're going to get that. They pay their $5 and they can rant and rave at you. You just have to be, strong enough to not let it bother you and move on. So very unfortunate incident. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody, because when you get to that point, must have made you say, that's it, I'm done, to take those steps in the stands. And to get to that point, that I feel bad for coach in that situation. But yeah, very unfortunate incident. And again, Wakefield had nothing to do with that.
I know. Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach. Yeah, it is unfortunate. All you say. Again, I'm sorry it had to happen in your gym.
Yeah.
Coach Rivers, how about the mood down in Western Prince William County? Are you seeing something different with parents? The Potomac parents, that crowd used to be a pretty intense bunch. Are parents different now? This is more the usual to you?
Well, I know that people don't like it, but Eastern Prince William is a different world than Western Prince William. I can tell you that. When you talk about Eastern Prince William and let's say Potomac parents, it's probably more so of them feeling like they can voice their displeasure with you from the stands because you probably grew up with, which I'm sure Tony can understand, being at Wakefield. I couldn't see something like that happening because it seems crazy, but I wouldn't be shocked if something like what happened with Coach Prue happened in an environment like Potomac, if someone went into the stands. It's funny enough, a friend of mine that was on the team when I was a freshman, he was a senior. And as we played Potomac, obviously, and they were at the game, and then a couple games later we saw them because they were playing before us or after us at Colonial Forge. He said, "Hey, man, why don't you play this kid more?" And I laughed for a second. I was like, "Well, you were at the game." I said, "We won, right?" I said, "The kid you're telling me to play means that the other kid that played that hit the 2 big threes from the corner wouldn't have been on the floor to make those shots." He said, "Yeah." I said, "I think I got this." I grew up with him, but at the same time, it's like someone's always going to have something to say. Now, that's on that side. Now, Western Prince William, when you start getting with people with money, they feel like they're entitled to tell you what to do. And they don't want to talk to you necessarily, the coach. They just go talk to who is in charge. And they want to go meet with the principal and the AD. And if they don't get the answers there, they're going to go to the superintendent's office, which, funny enough, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but that's already happened with our team this year. So, and that's just based off of somebody feeling like somebody should play when I think that I've been making the right decision as far as the minutes that they play or don't play. But, I tell my parents before we even start the year that, I'm not going to talk to them about playing time. And if you want to talk to me about playing time, I'm going to pretend like you don't exist for the rest of the time that your child is in school. I'm not going to take it out on your child because I know that you won't have enough sense to not do this. But at the same time, it's not something that I'm even going to entertain. And, Tony talking about, he said they let them come into practice and watch upward. Did I hear that right?
I have no problem with any parent or anyone.
Man, you're a better man than me because I don't want them anywhere near the door when they drop their kids off. So, it's just one of those things that the entitlement of parents, and I don't know if it comes from the amount of money that they're putting into trying to get their kids to the next level with the trainers and the amount of money that AAU costs and everything else, but just that they feel like their kids are owed something to play instead of them just earning it and realizing that they might not be earning it because they might not be doing what they need to do and telling them to do that is the part I think that, I haven't been coaching as long as everybody else, but I couldn't imagine my father talking to Kendall Hayes about how much I was playing. I couldn't imagine it. And my dad was on the staff. So that's what makes it even more insane. So I could not imagine anything like that happening when I was younger. But it's just something I feel like is just commonplace now where people, they're going to say what they have to say regardless of how you feel about it, because in their minds, they are advocating for their child and they're getting advocating mixed up with meddling.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach. Coach Carlos, now the expectations on you are going to be a little bit higher. Does that mean have the parents changed with the expectations, or have the fact that you guys are playing well, it's giving you more credibility, and the parents are falling in line?
I mean, if they're saying stuff, I don't hear it. So, I've always had a good group of parents. There's only been one situation where I didn't have a good group of parents throughout my 9 years of coaching. But besides that, I've always had great parents, great supportive system, and I don't really run into those issues as much.
Yeah. Well, that's great. It's good. It's working out. That's the way it should be. If you work hard and you put a good product on the floor, they should leave you alone and let you do your job. Well, Coach Ewell, Westfield is a kind of school, doesn't have the long tradition of some schools because it was kind of built kind of like an office park, and it was a different animal. And you've been there basically since the building opened, even though Coach McKay got, I think, the first year or two. So I would assume you probably have a pretty good relationship with the fans and parents and boosters. But what is it like at Westfield?
It's great. First of all, the hard part for me with any of it is I live in the community as well. So that can be difficult. Don't get me wrong. And the one thing that I remind my parents of, we have a preseason parent meeting. All you parents right now that are at this meeting, all you want is for your kid to make the team. Then when we have our first meeting with parents, meet the coaches night, whatever they call it, I'm saying y'all are all happy that your kids that finally made the team, but now your rules have changed. You want minutes. So that's how things change. All I want is my son to make the team. Now my son made a team. Now I want minutes. Well, you can't have it. So what I do with my program, I'm kind of like Tony on this side of it. Every one of my practices are open. Parents can come to any practice they want. You know how many they come to? They might come to one during holiday break, alumni back in town, parents might show up to say, oh, grandma's in town, let's go watch practice. But they don't really come. And so what I also do with my team is every 2 weeks, so every other Saturday, we have individual meetings with every kid. So we have an individual meeting, and our individual meetings are pretty quick. It's maybe 5 minutes. It's how's your mom? How's your dad? How's your family? How's your grades? What do you think that you can do to help the team more? And here's my suggestions about what I think you could do to help the team more. Boop, out the door. So now we kept that relationship going, and they know what they give their suggestions, and then I give mine, and they out the door. So it just makes that thing easy. But on the proof thing, I think our world is different. I'm going to use politics for an example. Republicans only talk to Republicans. Democrats only talk to Democrats. And they're rude and nasty to people that don't think the same way they think. And so in today's society, those parents that are in the stands who don't agree with what you say, they're a lot more verbal. They're a lot more, you watch it on Instagram and Twitter, this and that and this, it's abusive. It's wrong. My rules are simple with my parents. You want to meet? Let me know when you want to meet. I'll be there. Your son will be there. We'll have that conversation. But I'm not having no meeting with you one-on-one, because my meeting is real simple. Any and everything that I will say to your kid, I will say it in front of you. Can you say I have the same class to say the same things that you want to say about me in front of your kid? And that's kind of the way things go for me.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach. Well, Coach Craig, Woodson has a tradition of a very strong boosters, very involved community. And you replaced a legend. Well, I think there was one coach between you and Coach Jenkins. There was two. Okay, yeah, that's right. There was two. But anyway, it's known that you have a very involved. I'm not sure about parents, but definitely fan boosters. But you won a state championship there. Obviously, it will give you some credibility. What is the mood like there? Are these issues that you ever think about at Woodson at all?
Look, 98% of the parents are incredibly appreciative of the time you give their kids, and they're very supportive. Most parents are really good parents. We're talking about, I think, a small minority of parents, and not necessarily just parents, boosters, people in the community, whatever, who are going to give you a problem. But they do exist. I just think, frankly, there's a lack of respect in general for teachers and coaches these days. And I think parents have been empowered to say and do whatever they want, and there's never any consequences. And they're allowed carte blanche to do whatever they want because administrators want to make the problem go away. And higher ups, people who are, I know in Fairfax County, it's such a big county, but there are administrators in Fairfax County, not necessarily building administrators, but administrators that are higher up who just want to make the parent complaint go away. So they cave, and the parents get what they want. I see it in the classroom. I see it in athletics. I see it in, a lot of different walks. And, these parents want to bulldoze these paths. There's a great quote, right? Don't prepare the kid for the path, not the path for the kid. And right now in this society, a lot of parents, I shouldn't say a lot, the parents that are in this minority want to prepare the path for the kid. They want to bulldoze any obstacle in the path and allow their kid to have carte blanche and never be challenged and never be pushed and never be held accountable for anything. And frankly, there is a lack of respect for teachers and coaches. They think that we work for them. I don't work for the parents. I work for the kids. I'm there for the kids, not for the parents. There's a time, and I'm a child of a coach, right? So I've been around coaching and teaching, 45. I'm 45 years old, 40 years. I've been aware of what's going on. There was a time when parents would not question everything a coach does with their kids, and a lot of times the kid would come home and complain, and the parent would say, "Well, that's your coach. You're going to listen to your coach." All of us teachers, coaches, we're not getting into this for the money, right? We're not getting rich coaching public school basketball or teaching high school classes. None of us are getting rich doing that. We're doing this because we really believe in public education, and we believe in the idea of helping others achieve what they want to achieve. And we get into this for the right reasons because we want to help kids. We don't want to hurt kids. Are there bad coaches? Yes, of course there are. There's bad bankers, there's bad lawyers, there's bad doctors. That's every walk of life. But most coaches are in it for the right reasons. And I think that parents lose sight of that sometimes because they see that their kid is not getting what they think they deserve to get. I don't know. I would probably play Mussolini at point guard if he'd help me win a game. I mean, this is, coaches want to win. We're gonna put the best kids on the floor to help us win games. I mean,
the history teacher came out of you right there.
I'm actually a science teacher.
Oh, I'm about to say.
No, that's okay. But
history teacher myself.
And I think that parents sometimes they have a hard time separating their own children from what's best for everyone, and that's hard. And I'm a parent now too, right? I have 2 kids of my own. They play sports. It's hard for me sometimes to bite my tongue, but I also know what it's like to be on the other side. I just think there's a lack of respect right now. I think there's a lack of respect in general in society right now for a lot of different things. I think you see it with some of the behavior problems they're having in the stands with student sections. There's just a lack of respect in general. People think that they can say and do whatever they want because there's no consequences for anything. I had a parent, we lost a district championship game a number of years ago on a shot at the buzzer. District championship game to a team that was really good. And they had beaten us 3 times that year. We lost at the buzzer. Kid made a shot at the buzzer. I went back in the locker room, talked to my team, came out of the locker room not 8-10 minutes later after the game. And I had a parent come up and call me every 4-letter word in the book because their kid didn't make the all tournament team, which I had no saying over. I didn't have a vote. I didn't nominate anybody. Administrator picked the all tournament team, and I got cursed out after a game. This is 10 minutes after losing a district championship game at the buzzer. That's not going to be a very pleasant conversation to have to go through. But that parent was allowed to come to the next game. There was no consequences at all for that parent.
Something, man. What is going on here?
Speaking
Can
of
we talk about Tony in the
we don't want
background?
all right. I think the officials do a great job, though. I tell you what.
So speaking of not
The fact
pleasant,
that you were in the background of that picture makes it even better.
This guy, man.
well, first of all, Adam.
I even had to put him on a stool in the photo so you could see him.
Yeah. Hey, Adam. I'm gonna get you 1 second. I want to get Coach House in on one question. Adam, we were talking about the situation at Alexandria City with Coach Prue, and obviously Coach Prue has admitted he shouldn't have gone to the stands. The question is, have parents changed? And I'm sure as an official, you'll have some input on this as well. But let Coach Howson finish up on this.
All right. Yeah, I have a unique experience, probably similar to Alexandria City, old TC Williams, because West Potomac was formed from two schools, which is two completely separate communities, Fort Hunt and Groveton High Schools, similar to Hammond and GW and Alexandria City. So we actually have families and parents that, for the first time, really connect on the court at a game. And I'm working through to make their kids be the connecting as well on the court. So it's really unique. But I know I've been in like youth sports. My kids have been playing. My daughter's 13, so I guess I've really been in probably 6 years or so. 5, I guess, what they call competitive travel, which is ridiculous when you're like 8, 9 years old and they're calling it competitive travel. But the things that I see and hear in the stands at those games, there's no way that what happened in Alexandria City, that the person that said and did what they did in the stands just thought of it that night or the night before, right? That's something that they had probably been doing at games from the time that they were 8, 9, and 10 years old. And you go to, AAU tournaments and you see people coming onto the floor and screaming and whatever. I was at a game last weekend and this dad in the stands is legitimately talking every single possession about every possession. Get back, jump over there, jump to the ball. Hey, you go shoot it, turn it past my, and of course nobody said a word to him. So when that guy's kid gets 15, 16, he's gonna be doing the same thing. And I think that's the issue is, I don't know how much we can change it right now, but you got to go somewhere at 10 years old and have some parent rules that are just set for the gyms that they're being played in. And in my opinion, that's what I think. Because they do think they can do and say whatever they want, and they actually are getting away with it. So we had a game, we played South County Friday night, and I was doing the book for a 13U game the next morning. And the coach and the parent, because not the book, I was doing the clock. And everybody knows at some point you miss the clock, and what you don't want is for somebody to yell out clock. Like that's all you don't want is, right, 3 seconds go off the clock. I didn't hit the button. And the coach and the fan are screaming at me. Screaming at me. All right, now 12 hours earlier, there's 1,000 people in the gym at at our place against South County. We got a really tight game, tough game. And the next day there's 20 people in the stands and they're screaming and nobody said anything. And I made sure I said, like, that's, I'm volunteering my time. It's inappropriate. I'm volunteering my time. I'm doing the clock. Nobody wants to do it. And you're screaming at me. You're going to eventually make it so that nobody does this. And if I get up and leave, the game's over because no one's doing the clock. So I think it needs to be checked early. So unfortunate that night, no doubt about it. Their own. I think that I don't believe that all administrators understand the proximity that they need to be to the coaches if something like that is happening. So you're in the gym. If you're on the other side of the gym, it does not matter. I wish that Coach Prue had, stepped onto the court and said, I got to stop the game because of so-and-so in the stands. And, almost done a John Thompson, Big John deal of like, I'm going to move my guys because this is, I don't feel safe. I wish he had done that. And I hope that more coaches, will think that way as opposed to trying to handle things on their own in the game.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Coach Howson. Well, I want to introduce two new guys to the panel. Two great guys, great officials, good dudes. They had me on their podcast last week, so I was anxious to repay them and get their thoughts. Very thoughtful guys, and I know you're probably not speaking from Cardinal tonight, but if you guys wanted to add anything to this discussion, we're basically talking about Scott, the Coach Prue incident. Obviously, Coach Prue has admitted that he shouldn't have gone to the stands, but he was defending his players. I guess some of the Alexandria City fans, his own fans or parents, were heckling him or the players. I'm not sure exactly. But anyway, we'll start with Adam. Did you have any thoughts about parents these days? I mean, you've been officiating a long time, not that you're old. Are the parents, has the mood changed in the bleachers since you started refereeing?
Yeah. First, thanks for having me. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, even to Coach Bentley. It's really a pleasure to be here with you guys. Yeah, it's changed. I mean, Coach Houston's right. And I mean, I was at that South County, West Potomac game that Friday night, and I don't think we got yelled at even that much as he got yelled at the next day doing the clock. But yeah, it's changed. I think people have this, I don't know, this entitlement where they have the right to yell at anybody they want to yell at. To me, the scariest thing about the Alexandria City High is that's physically Cruz, one of the biggest guys there is on the sidelines, and people still went after him. I mean, what does that mean for the rest of us normal sized people? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. It is a problem. And sometimes it gets out on the court, or sometimes the kids, are acting a little bit crazier. But by and large, you guys as coaches take care of it. I don't know how you guys do what you do. I've said that to many of you before on the court. I mean, I have a lot of respect for what you do, in particular dealing with the things that happen off the court with your players and their families. I don't know how you do what you do.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Adam. Scott, do you have anything you wanted to add about this? I know you've refereed in Board 12, I believe, or at least the WCAC. You've been in other gyms. Have you noticed things changing? Have gotten much worse over the years as well?
Yeah, I have. I want to echo Merry Christmas to everyone. I just I felt for Prue in that situation, and everybody has their own thoughts on what was the right way to handle things. And I kind of try to put myself in the situation if I was officiating the games or something that maybe I could have recognized and gotten involved as one of the administrators of the game. I echo what Adam says, man. It's at the end of the night, we get to go home, and you guys get to deal with why didn't Johnny get enough playing time? Why didn't this happen? Why didn't that happen? And I feel for you guys. You know what? 10 or 15 years ago, that didn't happen. I didn't really care what happened to you guys, and that was just. But I really think the last 10 or 15 years, I've gotten to become a lot closer with a lot of you guys, and it just really is. It becomes important to realize that we're in this together, and sometimes we always don't feel that way, but we really are, and we all have our struggles with different things that happen, and I think the sooner that we realize that we can help each other in certain situations as coaches and officials, and realize we're here to help foster a game that's for the kids and it's not about us, I think that's where we all start winning a lot more on and off the court. And so I feel for you guys as coaches, and we as officials always get yelled at, so I guess maybe we're used to it. We can't make a call without somebody yelling something at us, except for Adam. Adam usually gets everything right. But I think we as officials have really started to at least for Adam and I as two of the leaders in Cardinal, we're really trying to promote understanding and empathizing what coaches have to deal with. And we do a coaches roundtable every off season. And the reason is because we want our officials to hear what it is that bothers you guys. And the number one thing, I know this is going to shock you guys, the number one thing we always hear is the officials don't listen to us. They don't communicate with us. There's no response. And so we're really trying to push that so that we can have those synergies. And I hope that we will.
I say something. I'm the one who's not in Cardinals, so I feel like I can say this. I think that you guys, honestly, this is being honest. I think that you guys do a good job of communicating things. Like whenever we play against teams that have Cardinal officials, and I ask a question, I get a decent answer compared to any other officiating crew that we have. Now, I'm not saying that I always like the answer, but I will give you guys credit that your officials come over, they speak to you, they say something, they'll even say, I might have missed that. Like, they'll give you that, even in the midst of something being something I might be a little bit too much. So I will say that. And this ain't me.
Which crew do you use again, Coach? Who are you guys with?
We are Bull Run.
Okay, I just want to make sure I got it on record if we happen to play against y'all.
I'm just like, listen, because a lot of times, and I'll say our own guys, like they don't really, and not all of them, but every time I've had Cardinal officials, they have explained something to me, and I can't always say that I'm always the best in my reaction to the explanation, but at least I get some sort of explanation of why something is compared to other officiating crews. I'm not just talking about this in Bull Run, but Stafford and all up and down the state. But that is something that you all do. So clearly those roundtables are working.
I do feel like
appreciate
that. it's definitely been like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Julian, I wanted to just add. I know a couple of coaches were talking about parents and the practices and whatever, and we have open practice also. And like I said, nobody comes when you say you can come. The kids probably tell their parents don't show up, but I actually have a couple dedicated parent practices. So it's like I have the chair set up on the side. We do a whole pregame. Like I take the parents into the locker room so they get to see their kids' lockers. And have the kids put a note on their lockers to give it to like the parent, almost like elementary school, back to school night stuff. And the kid and the parents sit like on the benches where the players would sit. I write on the board as if we're going into a pregame. At that same time, my coaches are coaching. And then we go back into the practice. It's always like we practice like an hour and 40 minutes. And so this is like 40. I give them like a 45-minute window of coming in, start and finish. It's helped. I mean, of course, some of the parents that I really want to be there don't show up that night. But it has certainly helped with the parents understanding. I mean, they're watching. I make sure I have the practice plan set up for when they're there, so they see like some of the challenging things and some of the things. Johnny isn't playing because he can't make a left-hand layup, and so now we're doing a bunch of drills that Johnny is showing. Like I've dribbled off my leg 3 times in a row, so parents can't say, hey, what's up with Johnny. It has helped. I understand. Like I've had a parent before that would just kind of hang out in the gym and then start like leaking over to the court. And I had to, go, hey, if you're going to come in the gym, it's cool, but you got to go stand over there. But outside of that, I don't think anyone's ever just showed up just to come. But I mean, it certainly has helped with the issues that I think some of my parents have had in the stands and things they might want to say. They can now see it in action in practice.
Yeah, that's great.
Hey, Julian, can I jump in and just,
Yeah.
we've done some things, Adam and I especially have really been at the forefront. And not everybody can do this for Cardinal, but as an example, a couple of years ago, I went out to Coach Craig's group and met with not only the student athletes, but the parents, and had the officials. Adam and I do speeches for the coaches and the fans and the parents, and we put some videos up there. We showed some clips. What do you guys think? Is this backcourt or not? Do you think this? And you'd be surprised how many of them missed out on what the right rule was. I think it's important to do that too. I think look, you can't do it every year, but every once in a while, it's good to mix in having somebody from the Officials Association come out and speak to the parents and let them know, hey, we're real people too. I mean, look, 4 of us are in clergy in Cardinal, and not a lot of people understand that we have our own lives too. It's like that teacher mentality. Like, why is a teacher at the grocery store? I mean, they actually have lives outside of what you see. So I think that's an important piece. I want to give kudos to Sherman too, because I heard Sherman in past talk about what it's like to play in front of different officiating associations and how he uses that for his team to get them to understand what it's like to go to other places in the state, to learn how to deal with adversity. You're not always going to get the calls in other places. I think that was one of the main reasons you were playing in a lot of games up here, and maybe in the Wakefield League or other things. So I think that a lot of times
it's important. It's important, because like I said, different crews and different associations ref differently, and they react to things differently. I think it's important for kids to see it.
If I could add something to this discussion, and because I want to make it clear. I mean, if there are any parents watching, nobody is infallible. Scott said that, like officials miss calls, players miss shots, coaches make bad calls. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I walk out of a game being like, man, I should have run that out of that timeout, or we should have done that on that inbounds. Coaches make mistakes during the game. It's a game of mistakes. Basketball is not one of those games that you're not going to make a mistake, from coaches to players to officials. It happens so fast. It's such a fast game. And there are errors made all the time. And the idea that you're sitting up in the stands critiquing every play call a coach might make, well, they should have done this out of this timeout. Most of the time we know we made a mistake and we're not infallible too. I mean, I could tell you several times, I can't tell you how many games I've walked out and be like, hey, that's on us as a coaching staff, not on the kids. I mean, that happens all the time. We know sometimes when we make a bad call, and most coaches are working very hard, to get better at their craft. You know, they go to clinics, they talk to other coaches, they work, they do stuff in the off season. You know, they watch a lot of film. I mean, a lot of this stuff is going on, and to think that you're just sitting up in the stands and critiquing a coach or an official as if they're not trying their best to do their best as well, just like the kids are, right? We're all trying our best. I just think the lack of civility just in general is a real issue right now. And I actually think the high school game is relatively tame. If you go to an AAU tournament, I mean, it's like crazy what's going on out there. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I yell at my kids when they hit a shot in a practice and like 6 guys from the sidelines run on the floor because they want to act like, you know, doing all this stuff. And it's like, hey, guys, get off the floor. I mean, it's just crazy what's going on. And the lack of decorum, I think, is just in general is not very good right now around the game. And it's the pendulum swung way too far the other way, in my opinion.
And Coach Craig, and I know Coach Allison may have comments on this as well. Is it worse in the classroom, parents, or is it worse for the basketball players? The expectations are the same, classroom and also on the basketball court, or it's
I just think in general, there's very high expectations all the way around, and there's very little attention paid to by the process you have to go through to get to the end result. It's all about the end result and the satisfy me now culture that we're seeing, I think.
Doug, I think you're right on that, but I think that we had this discussion before. We live in a society where there's no consequences for their actions. And so basketball is, when I say this, it's the only sport probably at every one of your schools that we actually release kids. I don't like to use the word cut. We release kids. They ain't release no kids from football. They ain't release no kids from lacrosse or anything else. So it's a small community. But what I'm saying is like, we're the only sport where we really hold people accountable. So like, kids show up late to school. What's the accountability for that? Nothing. They don't study for a test. They fail it. It's okay. Retake it. You know, it means, so there's no accountability. So we're the only, like, I hate to say it, but we're trying to hold these kids accountable for something that they never have to get accountable for anything. Everything in their life kind of is a do-over, except for us coaches. So I think that's where the controversy comes in with the parent. They have no structure, and then you trying to give them something that will actually make them really, really successful in life.
Hey, Doug, to add to that, I had a coach I used to work with, and this goes back into the, late 90s or so. And he used to talk about the video games, how that was the downfall, because the kids could just, if they didn't like the way the game was going, they just hit the reset button and started over again.
Yeah, they call it rage. They call it rage quit, right? Yeah.
So it is a challenge classroom wise with some of the new rules of rolling grade books, turn stuff in kind of whenever you want, and they can go back and change it. I think parents access to emailing about grades, administrators that change grades in the summertime. And I think some of these same parents that are used to getting that way, they take it onto the court. And, I think some of the strong DSAs in our area, kind of like Coach Bentley talked about earlier, he has a great relationship with his people. They probably, if there are issues, they probably take care of that before it even gets to you. And they realize, well, that's a ridiculous issue. I had a freshman parent that wanted to meet with the principal because I walked through the gym during the freshman game and I didn't acknowledge him in the stands. And I didn't know that that's what the meeting was about until I'm sitting in the meeting. And I'm like, I don't know, what's this kid's a freshman? He's my freshman. What's the issue? And they're like, Dad is like, well, I saw you and you didn't say anything. Like, you got to be kidding me. But I've also had other administrators that would take that, realize like, okay, that's not worth having any meeting about. But the fact that some parents think that they can just show up with any issue and not be checked on it, slight problem there.
Yes, and entitlement. Tony, you going to say something here? Or?
No, I'm good. I'm
okay.
Not gonna get myself in trouble.
Exactly. So one thing we could talk about is COVID. I think if you're watching the news, and I mean, none of us are epidemiologists, I hope I said it right, but it looks like this thing's going to hit pretty hard the next few weeks, but it looks like it goes away quickly. So unfortunately, it's just in time for district play. So, things may get a little bit stacked up a little bit, but I think we're going to be fine by February. That's my prediction. Are there things as coaches you guys are doing now in preparation? And I know when the officials, when they start to talk, they can tell us about whether are we looking at going back to two-man crews again if this happens. So, Tony or anyone?
Please no. Please no. Please
Yeah,
don't.
exactly.
Well, I think
Mhm.
I think one of the things that we're doing differently from last year, everything has definitely changed from last year. Our kids are getting tested every day. And I've heard from other counties that they get tested once a week. Well, at Wakefield, we have a crew there at 10 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And kids can go get tested at lunch and they can get tested right after school before they present us with their ticket showing that they've been tested. So there's been a lot of different things. And you guys remember last year, if a kid tested positive COVID, your whole team was shut down. Now it's the kid is shut down. Things are different. No mask. I mean, we still have kids wearing masks. We wear them in practice if we need to. But I think us getting tested every single day helps us with any kind of tracing that's going on. So that's a bit of I have no idea who the hell's paying for all that, but it's every day at Wakefield. And on Saturdays as well, too. We have to adjust our schedule because testing starts at 8 to 10 in the morning on Saturdays. And kids can come up to the school, even if they don't have practice, they can come up and continue getting tested so they stay in the system. So I think that's helping out a lot. I mean, we can't control what's going on with this world. And Arlington County has been hit hard as well, too, because you think about it, it's a small county. WNL, Wakefield, Yorktown, these all kids grew up in the same area. They're all friends. So they're all hanging at each other's houses and after games or whatever. Now all of a sudden somebody's whole JV team is shut down. And now it's a trickle effect. Here comes our JV team. Here comes the varsity. So being in that small county that we have, we're getting hit, on the girls' side, on the boys' side. It's unfortunate, but I think there's a lot of things that are being done to help along with the process of trying to get us to playing. I remember last year, like you couldn't even talk to your ADs about, nope, cancel, shut down. Now, like my AD is all fighting. Arlington County went into this 2-week off, for Christmas break. No buildings open. Like superintendent had no idea that I've been running a tournament for 19 years, that WNL, that Yorktown still plays in tournaments, but nope, they wanted to shut everything down. My principal, my athletic director fought, to say, hey, no, we're going to have our building open for those 3 days for the tournament. So, before it was like just quick to shut everything down, but I think we have some people that are in help for us to trying to keep sports and things going. So yeah, it's a bit different from last year.
Yeah, I think we proved last year we can do it. But it's the Yorktown game of last Thursday has been called a super spreader event.
Yeah, I heard that with WNL Yorktown super spreader. I heard that.
Yeah, so that's not good, but but hopefully that'll just kind of balance itself out. Anyone else want to add anything about the COVID or anything that we can do?
Yeah. I'll say something really quick because obviously, PBR on Tony said like last year was just like you just didn't want anything to happen because you felt like something would happen. That was going to be it. We were lucky enough last year not to have any issues. Unfortunately, like you said, this year we had an issue with the kid that it came up with a positive test. And then once you get 2 kids, that's considered an outbreak. And so at that point, you had to kind of shut it down to kind of control it. Before that, when we just had the 1, we were going to be down 4 or 5 kids because if you weren't vaccinated, then that means that you had to quarantine for a certain amount of time, and certain kids were not. And we were just going to play it out and see how it went. But once we had the 2, we couldn't do that. And just like talk about changes, they were saying, well, if these kids come back, they're not offering kids to get tested in Prince William County like that. Well, not at our high school if they are. I don't know anything about that. So that's great. They're doing that for y'all. But, we could have had practice on Wednesday. I told kids to stay away, stay in your house. Obviously we know we got to get ready for Monday, but it's one of those things that either we can try to force a practice and something else can happen and we have some more time shut down, or I could just tell everybody to stay away and hopefully we can get to the Monday and have a walkthrough and just do it that way. So being understanding that you might not be able to do everything you want to do because of, like you said, the surge and things and what's going on and it being a holiday season is one of those things that you're just trying to come to grips with and being more understanding the fact that we might not be like we had kids come and shoot. We had like 5 kids come and shoot, so they could all be at different baskets today. And so nobody was close to each other. So it's things like that type of adjustments you try to make to situations.
Yeah.
Hey, what is the rule for when a kid gets COVID? What's the, like, for Fairfax County, what is our rule? I never got
Vaccinated or not vaccinated, Carlos?
vaccinated.
Vaccinated. I think they call it red cap, if I'm correct, Doug and David. They get sent to a red cap, and then the health department will send them an email, and then if they have no symptoms, they could be back within 24 hours. If they have symptoms, I think they are out for, I don't know what the date is with symptoms, but if you're not vaccinated, you're out 10 days.
Right.
If I'm correct. I think I'm correct. Is that right, David?
Yeah, I think that's it. I know the red cap is correct. So red cap is like a list essentially you get put on that they now are like tracking who it is on that list and how many days you're out, who's been around that person, et cetera. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the vaccinated and unvaccinated rule.
Okay.
But what I don't know is if you have to, I thought, Doug, you had to come back with a negative COVID test. Is that if you're vaccinated? Is that right? I don't know.
If you're vaccinated, you do not, you have to, if you're vaccinated, my son went through it. And so you fill out some form that they send you online. If you have no symptoms, they will send you an email right back saying, if you have no symptoms, you may go back, and it goes straight to the red cap people and they clear you. But if you have symptoms, that's where the problem kicks in.
Interesting.
One of the problems right now is the Fairfax County Health Department is just so overwhelmed with numbers that they're taking a long time to get back to the kids when a positive test is. Like, we had a kid test positive on Friday last week. He hadn't heard from the health department by Tuesday this week. His parents actually had to call in because there's just so many cases and they just only have so many workers.
Well,
And they do nothing on the weekends. So a Friday positive test is the worst. I guess it's like going to jail Friday night. The magistrate doesn't open till Monday morning. You just gotta chill. So
Are you speaking from experience, David?
I saw that in a movie. It was a good clip.
Yeah.
But my problem right now is let's use these 2 weeks. We ended school last Friday. So they're not testing all this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I can understand Friday, Christmas Eve, tomorrow, Christmas Eve. But then the 26th, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th, they're not testing. So what do you think's going to happen come January? We test on Wednesday at our school. So Wednesday was at January 5th. Boy, it's going to be open and popping.
Same here. We test January 15th.
Yeah.
Well, they just sent a bunch of take-home tests for our kids. So, and I don't know how much I trust those things. I hate to say that, but it's, that it wasn't something where they gave like tests at the school. That the school nurse said I have take-home tests, first come, first serve, and she sent that email out on like the afternoon, and by 10 o'clock the next day, it wasn't any more tests left because they were just giving them as many as they wanted to take.
Yeah. People always score higher on take-home tests. How about the officials in the house? What are you guys making any preparations? Are you seeing the numbers and getting a little bit afraid of January, or do you think you're ready to continue three-man crew even if you have one or a couple positives here or there?
Yeah, honestly, I think it just depends on what the effects are. So, going through last year and through the first month of the season this year, we have seen almost no transmission from players or coaches to officials during games. That just hasn't happened because we've done some things to make sure we're in less proximity than normal, and even then, we're not that close. Inside to players and coaches, quite honestly. And we've done a few things this year to continue from last year to keep that going. Where we saw it last year, quite honestly, where there was we had like 2 or 3 close contacts, not even transmission, just close contacts between officials, and those were in locker rooms. And so, that to me is the place of high transmission for us. And so we've just asked officials to continue, just because, and the schools have asked, from the time we walk in the building to the time the game starts, mask up, social distance, put your masks back on as best we can in timeouts and in between quarters and halftime and when the game ends. And we've just basically, we've always been an association before last year where we want people to come to games dressed, professionally, change in the locker room and, shower up if they want to. I don't know why you wouldn't want to, but, and change to leave. And we've kind of just put that on hold again this year where we've told officials you can go dress to the game, just trying to minimize that. Right now we're, knock wood, we're in a good shape for, 3-person crews for this season, except for, Hayfield, South County games. Those are the only games we're going to have two officials.
Right.
And Alexandria
West Potomac
Wakefield.
Yeah. So we identified 5 nights this year where there were just an inordinate number of games at the varsity level where we just couldn't supply 3 officials. And so in talking with the supervisors of the ADs and the DSAs in Loudoun and Arlington and Fairfax, we decided those would be the 5 nights that would get 2-person crews. And if you wanted a 3-person crew, you just need to move the game off that night. At this point, the rest of the nights we can cover 3. That being said, if the positive cases rise, then we're not going to be very different than the public at large, and we'll be affected by it. And that could or could not. If you, and I'm not a mathematician, I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but if the schools are having the problems and we're having the problems, and there's going to be less games on a given night, maybe we can continue to do 3-person. But thank God that's somebody else's problem, not mine. That's Doug Duvall's problem.
Exactly.
Figure out.
Yeah. Scott, did you want to add something there? Or?
I just think it's weird how, we can't come to some type of consistent behavior on this. I'm hearing different things for Arlington and Fairfax and Prince William, and one of my other employers is the NBA. I think most of you know I work for the NBA and referee operations. And last year, when the Phoenix Suns came to town, I was fortunate enough by them they gave me COVID along with 6 other staffers, as well as most of the Washington Wizards. And it shut us down. And the NBA plays no games with this. I mean, I'll come clean and share that I just tested positive today.
Sorry to hear that.
Unfortunately, working in a church as a pastor, my fellow pastor had a 9-month-old that was positive, and Merry Christmas, right? So hard for a pastor to be at home during Christmas Eve, but that's where I'm going to find myself. But I called the NBA today and I said, hey, this is what happened. They're like, we'll see you January 3rd. I'm like, what? And they just shut it down. They said, 10 days max. You have to go to the Wizards practice facility and test on these dates. If all these tests come back negative, then you can return to work on January 3rd. And I was just like, okay, but their system is their system. I'm not going to argue with it. But I just find it odd that we are dealing with all this. Honestly, I'd much rather be talking about things like, can we get back to the way the region used to be?
Yeah.
And having that one tournament and having those kind of conversations and talking about holiday tournaments and how did we miss this call, and trying to get Carlos to send me huddle tapes. And I'd much rather worry about that than the COVID stuff. But
Carl Armstrong's briefcase, things like that.
yeah, Carl Armstrong suitcase is one of my favorites.
Suitcase. Well, I used to love the silly political show, the McLaughlin Group, and they used to this time of year they used to give predictions for the next year. So I thought we'd go around and give predictions for the next year. I'll go first to give you guys a chance to think. So one of the players I've been most impressed with, and I haven't seen all you guys' team play, but I saw a kid play on Madison named Miles Franklin, and I like the way this kid moves. He looks really young, but he's just really smooth out there. So I was watching him play a couple weeks ago, and I was sitting next to Chris Kublank. He used to coach over at Oakton. He says, that's Derek Franklin's son. I'm like, because it doesn't really look like Derek at all. And I mean, the way this kid moves, and he shoots the ball with a perfect stroke. He's not all there yet. He's not strong enough, and he's still learning. But this kid's going to be a heck of a player. My prediction is 2022 is going to be a big year for Miles Franklin for Madison. So,
what year is he?
He's sophomore.
Sophomore.
Yeah.
Player.
So, yeah.
How
Anyone
much he
wanna go
had
next?
versus you, Houston?
What's that? What's
I
that?
asked how much he had versus him.
Yeah.
Our job was to make him defend. So he was a 10th grader, and that's a challenge, when you're a 10th grader. So he fouled out of the game.
Yeah, he fouls a lot. Yeah, he's not developed yet. He's very tall, and very lanky.
I grew up playing against Derek's brother.
Mhm.
And I mean, he's one of the best players I ever saw. I don't think I knew at all that kid was, until you just said it now, that was part of their family. Now thinking about the name, yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because he's much taller than those kids. I mean, he's 6'1" as a sophomore, and he's not even developed yet. He could be 6'4", 6'5", easy. So, anybody want to go next?
It's hard for me to predict anything that's going on next year. I'm happy to be living.
Okay.
Prediction next year.
Yeah.
Uh,
Carlos Poindexter is going to win the state title. Is that their prediction?
I hope he does. If it ain't me, I want it to be him. Prediction next year. Sorry, fellas, I don't have one. I'm kind of.
I'm trying to.
Just happy to be. Hopefully, have end of the season. Let's end the season in 22. That would be great for me.
Okay. Anyone else want to try?
Prediction?
Yeah.
I don't have no predictions. But like the kid Doyle Brown, I mean, I watched that Centerville Lake Braddock game, and I felt like that kid Doyle Brown looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a chance to see a lot of games, but that game I did watch in its entirety, and he looked pretty good.
Yeah, I like the way he moves.
What number is he? What number is he?
1 maybe? 4?
11.
I don't know.
That's who I thought you were talking about. Yeah.
Light skin guard.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
His father played for South Lakes. I'm pretty sure.
I told a story before we got on air that his father almost lost my job. There would have been no Tony Bentley. I was coaching at WNL with Bobby Dobson, and we was playing South Lakes in a regional game, and had all the scouts down, and all of a sudden this kid Doyle Brown comes in off the bench and lights up three pointers. Bobby turns to me in that high pitched voice. I won't do it here, but he turns to me.
Dude, please, no, come on.
no. And he's yelling at me about who in the hell is this kid and that. And he was not on the scouting report. Windlerbird didn't let him play, I guess, the night before when I went to go see him play. And he came in and lit us up and ended up beating us. But his son, I got to the game late last night, but Doug was telling me before I got in there, he had 14 of their points. And he was just on fire. And I knew right away that was the father and son combo.
Well, I'm going to pick on Coach Craig here. Doug, why don't you handicap your district going into district play?
Everybody's good.
And he'll be lucky to win a game.
Here's a prediction.
I'll be lucky to win a game.
Here's a prediction. Patriot District semifinals is going to be must-see TV. Because there's going to be, whoever the 4 teams are in the semifinals are going to be good teams. But I'll actually give you a prediction. You want a prediction?
Yeah.
Someone north of Fredericksburg will win the 6A state title this year.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a prediction. Someone north of Fredericksburg is going to win a 6A state title this year.
We look strong.
I was going to do a prediction on the Patriot also. I don't know if the team that wins the regular season is going to be the team to win it. And I mean, Doug is saying the 4-5. I would be fearful of the 7 and 6.
Oh, I just meant whoever the 4 teams are, it's going to be a hell of a semifinal game. Two really good games, because I think they're going to be 4 really good teams there.
I agree with that. I think getting the home game might be one of the most important things. Being in the top 4 might be one of the most important things this year. So,
yeah. How about you, Sherman? You're getting kind of quiet on me lately.
I don't want to make everybody stay here too long. I've been told I talk. So I like this prediction. Somebody north of Fredericksburg is going to win. I mean, it's it's so funny. We obviously with the old regions where it used to be, Prince William, we weren't a part of the old northern region. We were in the Northwest, so we had Danville and Roanoke and all that stuff. So we aren't really, from the roots of it kind of with y'all. But at the same time now, the way it is, it's kind of us and the beach. And then Richmond kind of gets lost in the shuffle there because it's not a whole lot of 6A teams there that are overly strong. But I'm going to find it hard to believe that outside of maybe Western Branch is going to be pretty good, and Lansdowne also got Downhand Jr. But type of teams we got up here, man, especially last like 5 years, it's whoever is the team that gets there, you feel like is going to be the one that's going to win it. And I'm pretty sure the last couple of years, it's been someone from Northern Virginia, and both as the opponents. It hasn't even been somebody from the beach that's made it to the championship or from Richmond. So I think that trend is going to continue. We just got a lot of strong teams up this way, a lot of good coaches. So I'm a piggyback off of Doug's, Craig's, and say somebody north of Fredericksburg is going to win the state championship.
Yeah.
We'll make a lot of people at the beach mad, but I don't care. They don't like us anyway.
Well, in fairness, it wasn't really going out on a limb because there's 54 teams in 6A, and I think 32 of them are north of Fredericksburg. So I went with math on that one.
If you let 757 tell it, they're the best.
Yeah, I'll call Dwight Robinson down there in Lansdowne after this and smooth it over with him. Just say I went with math.
Hey, I'll double down. I'll double down and say that not only will it be the boys, but there will be a girls champion in 6, and I think that we're going to have a 5 boys champion again. You got some good teams like Stonebridge and Independence and some others that can really go. So I wouldn't be surprised if we swept the 6 and took the 5 boys as well.
That'd be great.
I think
Hey,
Independence
speaking of
is scoring.
Stonebridge, has anybody seen Stonebridge play yet?
I haven't seen it, but they played champs. So at some point in time, I need to look at that film because they're in our district. So
Did they bring back everybody from that state championship team?
Mhm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw them play. I saw them play before the football players came back. So,
well, that was the one when they got those guys back. That's when they became super loaded, from what I heard.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I've been
Yeah,
hearing.
we started-
I don't get a chance to see those teams out there, but I hear a lot of people talk about Stonebridge basketball team. So I just haven't got a chance to see them play yet.
That's the bad part of the 5, 6, 4 is that if they're 5, we don't really have to see them.
Carlos,
Right.
Carlos, you guys played Independence, right?
Yeah, we played them.
You win that game?
Yeah.
Of course you did.
But Independence, if I'm correct, I think Independence is 4A.
No, they're 5 now.
They're 5 now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if we asked Stitzel, he'd tell us that they're going to beat everybody.
Yes,
I look
absolutely.
I look forward to the day where we don't have to guess which.
Tony, don't do that. I'm not trying to start nothing. I'm chilling.
I love it, man. I love it.
Well, look, guys, I thought we'd go around and get some closing thoughts. First of all, I want to thank you guys for doing this. I think it's great when we get talented guys, really bright coaches, talented coaches who have good intentions together and talk about the issues that affect the game. I think it's great for the kids to hear this. Really appreciate Scott and Adam jumping on, giving us your thoughts. And I think probably, the more we can do these kind of things, the better it is for our sport. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to hopefully we get some great enthusiastic crowds and maybe not in January, but hopefully we can finish off the season with the enthusiasm we started. I've seen some great officiating this year. Definitely seen some much better quality of basketball than I expected. I've been really impressed by the talent. A lot of big guys that can play. The guys 6'4", 6'5", shooting threes and handling the ball real well. So it's been a great first month of the season, and I'm very excited to finish strong. So does anybody have anything they want to close with or?
Good luck to y'all, man. I want everybody to stay healthy, man. That's it.
That's the
I want
biggest
everybody
thing. Stay healthy.
I want everybody to be able to play their games. I don't want, hopefully, like I said, saw the ACC change their forfeit rule. Hopefully VHSL can do the same thing with rescheduled games, if stuff happens, because, I don't want people to get wins off of not actually playing games. That's my whole thing.
Yeah. Anybody else want to jump in here or?
Well, I'm going to continue as long as we're playing, promote my tournament for next week. I still think it's one of the best tournaments around. We've got South County versus Annandale. We've got WNL versus Madison. We've got, what's that next one? Oh, Centerville versus Roosevelt from DC. And we got Big Bad WT Woodson against Wakefield. So It's got some top quality teams in this tournament. If we're able to have our tournament next week, which they haven't said anything, it is going to be a top-notch tournament with the best officials around. So you can't ask for anything worse than that, right?
Tony, big bad WT Woodson. If COVID keeps going the way it's going, I might be suiting up on Monday.
Yeah.
the level of play might drop precipitously.
Right.
Hey, can I ask you guys
We
that
got
are
the picture
Tony, you're
back
the
up. We got the picture back up. Yes, it is.
Oh, there it is. Why can't you get a picture of me smiling? I don't coach like that anymore. I'm old now.
you're
They don't
questioning the
exist.
call.
Those photos don't exist.
Hey, Tony, so we're in a tournament that starts, it's 27, 28, 29, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Was there, I wondered how come you guys, I think you guys are the same. Why not go, or was there a reason for not going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, seeing as how Christmas falls on Saturday and nobody can, there's no real practice and not a practice on Monday? Was there any kind of thought behind that?
Yeah, our reason every year, like I know I'm going to do my tournament every year, but I never know when. It's based off of our building, when our building is open. So I can get the building without having to pay anything extra. Those are my 3 days I get, and then they go back on vacation. So ours is just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's how they do it. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Anybody else? How about the
I
guy?
appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Happy
Yeah.
holidays, everybody.
Yeah, I'm honored to be on the call with you guys, man. I'm honored to be. There's a lot of guys with a lot of good intentions and a lot of wins under the belt and a lot of years and all that stuff. So, Julian, I appreciate you thinking enough of me to add me to this group. I definitely wish you all happy holidays. And if we meet,
Happy holidays.
What happened to Durham? What happened to Durham?
Be good.
Durham comes on the call, and that call belongs to Durham. I just want to let you guys know right away.
As someone who had him on their bench for 9 years, I could tell you that statement is completely true.
I
would say that right to his face too if he was sitting right next to me.
Before we leave,
I refereed his first game sitting in a chair when your wife was in labor.
Yeah.
And it was at Westfield.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, I just want to say this real quick. I'll send you my Cash App because Sherman did not talk much tonight, Dave. So you can pay me what we talked about.
Wow.
Sherman, I thought you hung up. I'm sorry.
Wow. Y'all put a bet in there on me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm man. I'm sorry, Sherman.
Oh man, you threw me out there when that wasn't even a thing. But that's good, bro. That was good. That was
hour
good.
and a half for us with Sherman on the call. That's pretty good, fellas.
Absolutely.
Hey, listen, when you the young guy, man, like I don't have siblings. I'm an only child, so I can't speak on it.
Hey, Carlos.
When you're the young one, you gotta make noise so everybody hear you, right?
Hey, Carlos said, can you imagine Patriots players on the baseline when Sherman started talking?
Oh, listen, I'm sure they get
No
tired.
longer
everything.
They're no longer tired. If they was tired and you got to make them run, they straight. They winded, dry, the whole
I
dime.
can't tell you how many times my father has told me to wrap it up. So.
Hey, by the way, I want to say to Tony, the first snow I want to report from Buck. Is it wet snow or dry snow? That's the most
Absolutely.
important thing
Yo, yes.
in the season.
Hey, Scott, best of luck. Best of luck to you. Hopefully you have a mild
Yes,
case. And
definitely.
You too, Scott, definitely.
Thank you.
Hey, real quick. Hey, Houston, who do y'all play y'all first? Who do y'all play?
Forest Park. So I don't know if they're going to be on watching this podcast, but if not, can you send me film if you got it?
Mac is a close friend of mine, but I think Mac will tell you right now that you're not going to have any issues. Yeah.
And this wraps up the show for the night, fellas.
I don't think he's going to say that at all. I don't think he would ever say that.
Oh man, hey, it's been fun though.
Everybody.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Happy holidays, everyone.
All right, bye, everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys.
Hey, Bentley, you see that picture?
Oh, we definitely got to go off that.
Bentley, you see that picture?
Well, it's not there anymore. Which one? Oh yeah, there it is.
Well, normally what's up there is Lawrence Taylor. I just had to put it up there for you.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
what's normally there, though.
Appreciate that. First
All right,
jump ball,
fellas,
make
love
sure
y'all.
Adam threw the
All right,
first jump
fellas.
ball.
I'll see y'all.
Good night.